No friends then for Aberdeen. He's now learning the full lonely life of being a professional bike rider on the Cheddar Gorge.
Well, as he comes up here, it's still the Fagor team within close attendance. Joey McLaughlin watching, waiting for the time, because this is the springboard to try and surprise Malcolm Elliott, because Malcolm is not quite as good as Joey on the climbs, and it's Joey's best place to try and attack him if he's going to.
Plenty of cheers from rather damp holidaymakers on this climb. I don't mind the riders getting wet, but I do feel sorry for somebody on holiday as they stand on the side of the Cheddar Gorge, this most beautiful part of Britain, in the rain. This is Malcolm Elliott now then. It's unusual to see Elliott on the attack on the climb, but he's proving this week that he is very, very strong on these climbs. And again, McLaughlin now coming up on his shoulder, Paul.
Well, these are the two most important men for us at the moment. There, Joey is in fact having the pace dictated to him by Malcolm. As the best rule in the book is, the best form of defence is attack, and that's exactly what Malcolm's doing. He's dominating his own pace to Joey. Joey's trying to keep up through the inside, but there's such a large crowd up here that he's having trouble staying there.
I would have thought, Paul, that this is proving to us that Joey hasn't quite got the edge here on Elliott, because really, with Aberdeen now coming rapidly back to this group, if I'd have been Joey as the Aberdeen was caught, I would try to put in the attack, because obviously that's the time to go. No more hills left.
Well, it's got to be, if Joey's going to launch the attack, it's got to be before the top of this climb, because afterwards we've got a very dangerous descent and then the run into Bristol. I would think, though, that Malcolm was looking very, very confident here. He's got Sean Yates, who's done an incredible ride today, and he's probably the rider who's ridden the most on the front of this Tour of Britain this year.
Absolutely right. I thought you almost said the Tour de France there, but that was last month, Paul. It must be Britain this week. Aberdeen then, being caught all the time, but he's done everything possible here to give Joey McLaughlin his chance, and I know that McLaughlin will appreciate that. The strongman Yates now, the whole of the Fagor boys, as this climb comes towards its end, they must be feeling now full of confidence.
Well, obviously, Phil, if you look, in fact, I can actually see the difference in the speed here as Sean Yates is motoring up this climb. There's a visible difference in the speed of the two groups. Aberdeen's been away for some 40-50 miles now. He's beginning to weaken, with Sean Yates putting the turbo into action, dragging Robert Miller and Malcolm Elliott there in third place. This is the Fagor team, the team that we've seen at the front of the Tour of Britain almost since the first day.
Yes, you've got to vote them the most outstanding players of the match, as it were, because Sean Yates has done a sterling job with Miller, and of course Stephen Roach, and not to mention Malcolm Elliott. But this rider's done the sterling work today, in the lead now for approaching 70 miles. He's tried to win this race the hard way, and for a while he was the overall race leader on the road, and the only reason he isn't now is because the Fagor team have put in the effort required of them to bring him back. He took them on and they've responded. They're catching now all the time. The last time check we have is 20 seconds now to Aberdeen. So all the way up this climb, they are bringing him back. We're over the steep slopes of the Cheddar Gorge now, but this climb goes on for some way yet.
Well, Aberdeen starting to get to the easier part of the climb, and if he can get over the top, 20 seconds clear, that's all he needs. He stands a better chance on the descent.
Yates is continuing here to set a tempo that no one else can follow. Robert Miller content to ride in his slipstream. He's had the most marvellous season this year, Sean Yates, winning stages in all of the world's major races.
Well, to come back to the tactical point of view as we go back to Aberdeen here, the best tactic that the Fagor team can adopt now is, before they were chasing to try and pull Aberdeen back because he was a threat, but now that he's only 20 seconds in front, they will change the tactic slightly and keep the speed high enough, which is exactly what Sean Yates is doing, to prevent Joey McLaughlin from attacking.
Well, if you've got the legs, it's all right, I suppose, Paul, but if you're suffering at the back of that bunch, as I know one or two riders are, because one man who has been detached at the back is a teammate of Sean Yates and the Fagor boys, and that's Bernard Richard, the fifth member of the Fagor team. He was up the front early on today, but now he is in fact losing contact with this. Now let's have a look up the road here from the Fagors on the front, panning along by our helicopter. I don't know how he ever finds the riders, quite frankly, but there he is in the distance, and I suppose it's very difficult to assess, but that can't be more than 15 seconds up the road for Aberdeen. He might just survive to take the prize on top of the Cheddar Gorge. He certainly deserves that. He's won all of the climbs today if he does that, and that's been a marvellous day out for him.
Well, as you look at him now, Phil, it looks as if he's resigned himself slightly to being caught, because he's just turning the gear off. He's not fighting the gear as he was before when we were watching him. He's just turning the gears over to try and stay away and get that mountains prize at the top here.
Well, if this is just turning the gears over, Paul, it really looks to me as though he's going to all sorts of pain barriers at the moment. Out now, away from the Cheddar Gorge, the lights behind Aberdeen, I'm afraid, are saying it's not much longer for him now. The rain is almost off, but the roads are extremely damp. And this has been quite a bad day of rain today. In fact, the green flag you may have just caught a glimpse of, 200 metres to go to the prize at the top of the gorge. The big field are now at the green flag, while Aberdeen is just about going to hit the white one, and that will give him a lead of about 150 yards over the main field. So Aberdeen, Paul, I don't think now can stay away all the way to Bristol.
Well, I think they're going to catch Aberdeen the next few moments as we watch here, and now is the time that if Joey McLaughlin is going to, now's the time he's got to launch this attack. If he can't do it now, he has one last chance, and that's on the finishing circuit. As I'm looking now down at the result, Aberdeen is there, Giannetti is second place, so it looks as if he's definitely going to take this King of the Mountains competition.
Sean Kelly quite clearly deciding today he was not going to participate. Stephen Hodge has put in a challenge, and I think he may well have done enough now to climb over teammate Kelly into second place overall. No doubt then, Giannetti, the King of the Mountains today, and it's the N2 here now for Henri Aberdeen. Certainly our hero today. I put him down as the best break of the whole race so far. He took them on, he took the yellow jersey for a while. He's lost it now because there's Malcolm Elliott on his shoulder. He looks across at the wheel there of Giannetti. There's Giannetti, now the winner-elect of the King of the Mountains competition. No more hills left of note in this race. A couple on the finishing circuit in Bristol, and he won't worry about those. Elliott now thinking too that maybe that yellow jersey is safe, at least for today, and the big battle will be in Westminster tomorrow. Well, the pressure again very, very much on, Paul. That's a long, thin line down there. The wind coming from the right of the riders, pinning them in the left-hand corner.
And as we look down here, what a trio of riders. We've got Malcolm Elliott, who's just gone there, Joey McLaughlin, followed by Sean Kelly, and just on his wheel, Stephen Roach. And look at the face on Joey McLaughlin. It's not the face of Joey's big days, and maybe the lack of races that he's had this year with all his problems has put him a little bit behind Malcolm Elliott, who's come out of the Tour de France with a little bit more strength in his legs.
Absolutely, and that's great credit to Joey McLaughlin, who came to this race from injury and has responded so well as the defending champion that he's still very much in with a chance of snatching this event.
And coming to the front, look at this. This is Sean Yates. He's the man who's done everything that he can today for Malcolm Elliott. But look at the face on him. That's not the face of Sean. That's what Sean would say is a full mask.
So Sean Yates then selling himself here for his teammate Malcolm Elliott. And now we've got the descents to come, and it looks to me as though we have a problem here. It looks like the team manager there, the team manager of the ADR team, or the Isoglass team in fact, is in trouble, and one or two riders, we understand, have fallen at the head of the field. 4 riders have gone down. No serious injury as far as we know, but that is Jan-Erik Oostergaard, who seems to be the worst delayed. Everybody else, however, on the way, as Stephen Roach and Malcolm Elliott and co are still in this group. Bristol is now on the horizon. Who's going to win the stage today? Come back soon.